and welcome back to this week's edition of Don't Forget to Bless the Food. As always, I'm Amy. I've been in the kitchen experimenting this week, and we are going to be working with some fresh Jersey vegetables. We're going to make two different kinds of portobello burgers, one a vegetarian, and then one that I came up with on my own, and it's going to be delightful. And the first one we're going to start with is our beef portobello mushroom burger. So first thing I have to do is I have 1.5 pounds of ground beef, and I've broke it up really good. And I'm going to add in some portobello mushrooms, fresh portobellos, which are one of the meatiest mushrooms that you can get. And I'm just going to chop these up real good and add them into our beef. And I want to keep them a little bit on the bigger side, because when you bite into this burger, I want you to have a nice big chunk of portobello in there so you can really taste it. And I'm going to add quite a bit of them in there. I'm going to add some more. There's a lot of misconceptions about mushrooms. One of them is that you can't wash them because they'll soak up all the water. Only sponges soak up water. You can definitely wash a portobello, but just make sure you dry it before you cook it. And that looks like about enough. This is going to be a lot of vegetables in here, so the next thing I'm going to add are some chopped black olives, and this is about 1/4 cup. I'm not even sure if olives are considered a vegetable or a fruit, but nonetheless, there they go. And then I have 1/4 cup of breadcrumb, 1 egg at room temperature that I've already broken up, and 1.5 tablespoons of soy sauce. Soy sauce and mushrooms go together so well. It's like strawberries and chocolate. Like you can't go wrong with mushrooms and soy. So now we're going to add in a little bit of cracked pepper and just a little bit of salt. We're not going to add any garlic or anything like that to this, simply because the garlic will not match very well with our black olives. So I'm going to get this incorporated, and then I'm going to add in a couple other ingredients, well, one more ingredient. And this is a very meaty burger. Okay, so now I'm going to grab a fresh green pepper and add a couple slices of that in. Cut it lengthwise and then cut it the other way. Just line them up. It's really easy to cut that way. And I don't like these really tiny because, again, you want to taste each ingredient in your burger. And then the next thing I'm going to add is some white onion, but not a whole lot. And this you want to cut up fairly small. So I'm going to grab my onion knife here. Cut that up really little. So before I add this, I'm just going to heat my grill up so it's nice and hot when we get our burgers in there. And your grill should be at about 350 degrees. And now I'm just going to get in there with some clean hands and get it all incorporated. And this is the only way to do a burger. You got to get your hands in there. And in case you just were wondering, the breadcrumb and the egg isn't for flavor. That's your glue. That's your binding that's going to hold your burger together. So you have to make sure you get it really combined. And if you can see, the motion that I'm making with my hand is called folding. And I'm just simply scooping everything from the bottom and pulling it up and incorporating it. That way, all of the ingredients are mixed in well. And this is pretty even before it's cooked. How pretty is that? Okay, so I'm going to wash my hands here. I'm going to add some olive oil to my pan, which is nice and hot. I can feel it. And I'm going to start making our patties. I like to make it about a fistful, about that much. And when I make my burgers, I just simply twirl them into my palm. You can see that I use the inner part of my palm, and that makes a nice round burger. And then just with the thumb of the other hand, press everything in. And it makes a really pretty, nice shape. I'm going to go right into the pan with that one. Nice sizzle. And I'm going to get 4 of these in, so it fills up our pan. And we're going to add a couple of other things to the pan. And again, just with the inner part of your hand, and it'll make a nice, and if you like them a little thinner, thin them down. I like a nice big burger, and this is a really meaty burger. You can see how pretty that is. Right into the olive oil. I'm going too fast probably, so I'll slow down just so you can see how to shape it. And that's number 3. And I'm just moving the olive oil around in the pan so it doesn't all puddle in one spot. And this is number 4. Okay, and there's burger number 4 down into our oil. And I'm going to cook these to the outer part of our grill for now. I'll wash my hands, and I'm going to add in some onion. And these are just going to be sauteed onions for topping our burger. I'm going to dress them a couple of different ways so you have a variety. I like them big because they do tend to cook away. Break them up. And now to that, I'm going to grab some white button onion or mushrooms and just give these a rough chop. And all this we're going to use to top both of our burgers. A couple more. Just a rough chop. You don't want them too thin because you don't want them to cook away. You want to be able to taste them after they're sauteed. Okay, and these are going to go right in. I'm just going to give them a little stir. Now move those around the edges. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and let these saute a little bit. We're going to take a little commercial break, and we're going to start preparing our next burger. And we also have some veggie shish kebabs I want to try to get in today too. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes, and we'll start on our next entree. So we'll see you back. Okay, so we have our burgers grilling, and here I have what are called portobello caps, and it's the whole portobello mushroom without the stem. Very beautiful vegetable. And the first thing I'm going to do is take a couple of cloves of garlic and just rub it on the outside of the portobello. And you wouldn't think that this would do much, but it does, because garlic is quite oily, and this will really infuse the flavor. We don't want to put minced garlic in our pan because then we won't get a nice grill. So I'll grab a new one. But this will give it a really nice flavor. Just rub it on. And if you want, when you put the portobellos into the grill pan, you could just drop these off to the side and it will give a nice flavor. So now I'm going to take some olive oil and put on top of each portobello. And it helps if you have a really good cutting board, because this will make a bit of a mess. And we want to get this on each side. Rub it in nice. Just like you're putting lotion on your skin. Rub it all over both sides. And then we're simply going to salt them and pepper them. Again, on both sides. Some fresh pepper. And while this olive oil soaks up in there, I'm going to get my pan hot. Now everything that we're doing, we can do on our outside grill. I don't have an outside grill here, so we're going to use a grill pan with the bumps in it, and that's going to give us our nice grill marks, hopefully, on our portobellos. And I'm going to take these right over to the pan and drop them in. When we start cooking them, we're going to cook them cap down. And we can pretty much drop them on and forget about them for a minute. But I am going to add a little bit more olive oil to it. And then we'll come back and turn them. And we'll get those nice grill marks. I'm going to go ahead and throw this garlic in there too. Okay, so now I'm going to flip my pan and we're going to start making our vegetable kebabs. I have lots of beautiful Jersey fresh peppers. I'm going to just chop these up. You can smell our burgers. I'm going to give them a rough chop, and then we're going to make them smaller to layer onto our kebab skewers. And I just want to get them started before I start poking. Okay. Now here I have some skewers, barbecue skewers, shish kebab skewers. And what I did is I soaked them for about 4 hours in Italian dressing. If you're going to use a skewer, it has to be wet. Otherwise, you're going to have a fire. And if you're going to make them wet, you might as well make it flavorful. So that's why I did the Italian dressing. So I'm just going to chop these as I go. And the first thing I'm going to add on here is one of those pretty button mushrooms. We're just going to poke it right through. And then I'm going to take some of this pepper and make it really pretty. I have some red onion, and these just need to be just a rough chop. They don't have to be, in any order. Just poke it straight through. Be careful of your fingers. Their onion. We'll go with some orange pepper. And maybe another piece of onion. And then some green pepper. Lost our red here. And then I have some more of that vinaigrette. And we're just going to lay it in there and let it marinate a little bit. And I'll start over. And these can be really big because they're going to grill really nice in that pan. So let me go over and check on our portobellos, and I'll come back to these skewers. They look nice. And we're just going to flip these over now. With a grill pan, the olive oil tends to run down, so you have to give it a little baste. And I'll flip this one. They look really yummy. These don't take long to cook at all, so I'm going to go ahead and turn this on low and let them just simmer. And we'll come back to our shish kebabs. Grab another white mushroom. And you don't have to do it the same way every time. Make it fun. You could add shrimp to these if you wanted, but I kind of like to have a vegetable one. We'll add another pepper. Just lay it down in here. Try to get 4 or 5 of these done. And then we're going to add these right into our pan that we did our other burgers in. You know, I think I'll add some of these portobellos on here because these have a completely different flavor than the white mushroom. So we'll add some of that. It's kind of big. Now these shish kebabs are going to be more, they're not going to be really, really soft. Just a crisp, almost raw, but just with a char on the outside of it. Okay, let's do orange. And a button mushroom, and that'll look really nice. Now let's turn them around a little bit. Really get that dressing on there. Let's flip that one. Okay, let's do another. We'll switch it up. If you want to dip them in, you can dip them in too so they're all coated. Go with the mushroom first. You want to use a sweeter onion, a red onion. You don't want to use a white onion for this because it's going to be too much of an onion, really strong onion taste, because these aren't going to cook all the way through. We're just going to char them on the outside, so you don't want that real pungent white onion or Spanish onion. So we'll put some red. And portobellos back there are sounding really good, and they look good. I'll put some green. Then I'll add some of this. We'll just roll it around. Okay, now I'm going to go back over to the portobellos and give them a little flip again. And you want to go in a different pattern. Your grill marks are going one way. So flip them a different way so you get a nice crisscross pattern. These look really good. There we go. And then roll your, that looks really good. And they're almost done. So let me go over here and check on our burgers we have going. Oh, these look great. This is a really meaty burger. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to move everything to the side. And since we have all of the same flavors, and you know how I love to do that, everything can be cooked in the same pan because we have all the same ingredients. So these are going to go right into the center of our grill pan. And then they're going to get infused with all the other flavors that are already in here. So let's grab this one. And with these on, I definitely want to cover the grill because the steam is going to help cook the vegetables a little bit better. So we're going to go ahead and cover this up. We'll take a little break so I can put some more of these together, and we'll come back and start putting it all together. So we'll be back in a couple of minutes.
My name is Dexter Branch, and you're watching CTF TV Live.
Okay, so now that we have everything grilling, we're going to make some dressings to put on our burgers. So the first thing I want to do is I have some plain mayonnaise, just regular out of the jar mayonnaise, whatever flavor, whatever brand you like. And I'm going to add some diced pimento to this. And these are the little things that are usually inside of olives, but they're so much better. You know, there's so many other things you can use pimento for. One of which is to make a nice dressing for your burger I just created. And then I'm going to add just a squirt of lemon juice to it. Give that a quick stir, and look how pretty it looks. And again, pimento is a type of pepper, so it'll go well with our burgers. So that's going to be one of our mayonnaises. And then I just have some plain mayo. Then I have some avocado, and let me grab I know that I've showed this before, but let's show how we can do an avocado again. In your hand, make sure you have something in your hand with your knife and just roll it around to the pit. Give it a quick little twist. And then with your knife, just pop it into that seed. Give a little twist and it'll pop right out. Maybe it'll pop out. If it doesn't pop out, you just grab a spoon. Okay, and then to peel the avocado, just run your spoon along the edge of the skin. This avocado is really ripe. And we're going to top one of our burgers with this. So we'll just turn that out on our cutting board. Then, of course, we have our trusty tomatoes, which aren't quite Jersey tomatoes yet, so this is in my heart to have to use a tomato that isn't out of my dad's garden. We'll just slice a couple of these up to top our burgers. And of course we have some lettuce. We'll just take off the first two layers and break those apart. And we'll just set some aside. You can chop it with your knife too. Okay, so I bought a couple of different types of rolls so that everybody had a nice choice. Let's put these aside. And of course I have my go-to cheese, my goat cheese. So I'm going to grab some rolls. Put a couple of... This is a Kaiser roll with the sesame seeds. And just a plain burger roll. Let's set this aside. And we'll open them up. I'm going to use the Kaiser roll for our portobellas. And I'm going to use the burger roll for our small burgers. And the pimento I'm going to use for our burger, the ones that have the actual meat in them. I'll drop that down. And then I'm going to go right over here and grab a couple out of the pan. And they look delicious. I'll go right there. And there. Now on this burger, I'm going to take some of those sauteed mushrooms and onions, and I'm going to top it with that. And a slice of tomato. And just a little bit of lettuce. Whoops. And I'm going to leave it open just for presentation. Now this burger, I'm going to put the avocado on top. And I know this one's going to get grabbed up by Kathy, who loves avocado. We'll just chop that. Okay, now on this roll, I'm just going to add some regular mayonnaise. Bottom and top. I love a lot of mayonnaise, so. And this is going to get both lettuce and tomato. And I like to put it on the bottom so it doesn't all fall out when you bite in. It's nice crisp lettuce, big pieces. And I'm just going to grab the whole pan and bring it over. Put that big meaty portobello. That looks delicious. I'm just going to drop some of that garlic right on there. Somebody might actually like that. I think I'm going to add some avocado just on top of one. Let's pull it out. And I'm going to put it on this one. Like that. And then I'm going to top it with a little slice of goat cheese. And then this one I'm just going to do goat cheese. So there's our burgers. This is our portobello and beef burger, and this is just portobello. I think I'll slice open one just so you can see how meaty this portobello is. And it just looks like a big old burger. I could slice all the way through there. And turn this one. Okay, now I'm going to go get our shish kebabs out. Let's put this aside. Now this is the dressing that we dipped it in. We're going to serve it right in the dressing. And how pretty is that? And that's our show for this week. We have our grilled portobello mushrooms, our grilled portobello burger with beef, and our all-veggie shish kebabs. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you will try our recipes. As always, I hope you will invite Jesus to be at the head of your table every night. We have our place set for Jesus. I hope you'll set yours. And above all things, don't forget to bless the food, and I will see you next week.